In TouchChat WordPower, there are many different ways that you can adapt the system for a Gestalt language processor, and these are my favorite ways to adapt the system without editing the home page or getting rid of any buttons that are important for later development and later language. So you really don't want to edit any of the home page buttons or any of the more specific buttons like social you can edit, but actions and describing words and stuff like that you want to kind of leave alone. That includes like when you're pressing on a button, so when you're in edit page, you want to leave the drink button to be just drink, because eventually they're going to be at the one word level and you want them to be able to communicate what we call novel sentences that are very original and their own and not kind of specific to what we might think that they want. So when you scroll down, some of you might notice that there's all these button actions. So you want to leave these alone when they're on the home page. Make sure that it's set like this because they really did organize this app to be best for communication overall and throughout life in general if kids are using this for a really long time. So when you are editing things, there is a little period usually under the clear button. You can see that I made it dark purple, and that's kind of where I would put some of what I call my core phrases. So these are phrases that you know what they mean, you've really looked into what the child is saying, and you've noticed that there is like a specific song they sing when they're ready to eat, or a specific song they sing when they're ready to go, and you can organize it by figuring out where the button is on the home page. So you can see go is 4 down and 4 across. So that's the button I would program for any like phrase or gestalt that might mean go. And that way they're learning the motor plan, so where that button is, so when they are ready for that one word level, they know where it is on that home page. So you can see if you click my core phrases, I have a few examples. This is a phrase for the go button. There's also one for eat and drink, and you'll see that I made sure that they were in the spots for go, eat, and drink as they are on the home page, so they're learning the motor plan. And you'll also see this little arrow which will navigate to a new page. So I like, some kids want it to stay on this page, so I wouldn't have it navigate to another thing. But when they're ready to tell you where they want to go or what they want to eat or what they want to drink, it's really cool because when you're in button actions under menu and edit page, you can see that they will play recorded speech as part of the song that I recorded, and it will also navigate to places. And so you can always delete that if you don't want it or not have it navigate, but it's really cool for them to kind of compose sentences this way. So this is an example. And so that's from a Coco Melon song, and then they can tell you where they want to go. So it's blast off was their way of saying go, and you can tell them, they can say blast off.
Bed.
Blast off to bed, and that's really more of a stage 1 gestalt where it's kind of whatever they're echoing from a show, from a song, from a movie, from your verbal speech that you've modeled for them as parents and as teachers and as specialists. And so there's the similar one for eat and drink. I'm thirsty for. So this is my voice, so pretend it's just not even related to a song.
Juice.
So you can say I'm thirsty for juice. So that's kind of a stage 1 similarity. That can also be a stage 2 because it's kind of mixing and matching. So stage 2 is when kids are starting to mix and match their phrases. So they might say, let's go to the bathroom, let's eat some food, let's have some fun. They kind of mix and match those phrases instead of having the same, like blast off, kitchen, or blast off, something like that. That's very always going to just be blast off and not really saying any other things connected to it yet. So when they're ready for stage 2 and you know kind of what those words mean, you don't want to get rid of their stage 1s. They might eventually come back to these stage 1s when they're in environments they're not comfortable with or new places, or having them in there, you never know when they might want to go back to their stage 1 gestalts. So the stage 2 ones, I also made sure to put them in the same spots of the words when they're on the home page. But you'll see let's eat and let's go are stage 2 gestalts that are very mix and match, and you can build from there. And so it's really in the same spot that they would be on the home page. So
let's eat candy.
Let's eat candy. And so that's kind of a stage 2, and that's not even using recorded voice. which I have another video on how to add recorded voice if your student or child is using is attending more to real voice. You don't want to do that everywhere. You can do that in important gestalts, so their favorite parts of songs or your voice on their favorite parts of phrases, just to see if they respond better to those, and then eventually move back to the augmentative speech. So you'll see that always the eat, drink, and go, all the ones I've ever programmed, are in those same spots. So eventually they know exactly where it is, and now they can say
candy
when they're ready for that. So that's my main tip, that I like to use the period button for basically getting rid of the period and putting my phrases. If you have other ones that you don't yet know what they mean, there's a lot of spots under groups. There's a lot of blank buttons, and this is the one I chose to put it down in the bottom left-hand corner for more phrases. And these are ones that I wasn't sure what they meant. I know they were important to the child, so I made sure to put them in. This is a song from Super Potato. It's kind of long, so I'm not going to play it. But when you press it, what I did is I programmed the button to play recorded speech, and I had this song up on my phone, and I just recorded it. And now they have their very specific phrase that they love and that they use, but I don't yet know why or when they use it, so I can't put it in a specific category, and it's not really a core phrase. So that's kind of what I've done with those. The last thing is, whenever you're thinking about TouchChat, there's a lot of categorical organization. So when you're looking at categories, you want to make sure that if it's a phrase related to a category, like a phrase related to a specific food or a specific place or a specific toy, you organize it into that category. So if it's something about school, making sure it's under the school category. If it's something about the holidays, making sure it's under the holiday category. The example I have is anything related to, I don't even think I have one organized in here. So let's say it's a gestalt that they always say around places. So maybe you have a gestalt on here that you organize onto that button under home that's blank. That's where I would put it. Or if you have a lot, you can always make a button that navigates to a blank page, and that's kind of how I've added to pages that are full like this, is I will have it navigate. It's in alphabetical order, but sometimes I miss it. Navigate, and then you can do the little plus sign in the top right hand corner to a new blank page, and you can make, whatever you want. All of the stage 1 or stage 2 gestalts that are in this category can be under this button. So once you make that, not that this would make any sense typically, it's kind of a random example. But once you have that, no animation, I didn't put a picture, but it will navigate to a completely blank page that you can have this whole blank page, and making sure to put in a back button, because when they want to go back, they can go back to the page that they were originally on, which is the home page. The example that I really like is under time. I really like the it's time mix and match phrase. And so what I do is I have it navigate.
It's time.
And then I have different stage 2 gestalts that are kind of mix and match. To go. And that's my voice.
Bed.
It's time to go to bed. So that's a different way of doing it, and that's under the category of time, because it's time to do something. So you could have put that anywhere, but that's kind of where it made sense for me. A lot of different ways to do this, but I would make sure not to edit anything on the homepage, including the button actions, and really using the my core phrases and where the buttons are to create a really personalized system for your Gestalt language processor. You can do this with any system, and this is just some of the ways you can do this within TouchChat WordPower. My YouTube channel also has other videos on how to record voice and how to add videos and all this other cool stuff that you can do within TouchChat WordPower. That's really great for your Gestalt language processor.